talk to. We wanna welcome you to SAZETU. This show's alive because of SAZETU.
SAZETU is brought to you by Maine Spirits. Learn more about the delicious spirits they import into the great state of Maine and the cocktails you can make with them at mainspirits.com or by downloading their app for your smartphone or visiting them on Instagram at Maine_spirits. Promotional consideration by State Theatre Portland. Visit statetheatreportland.com for an up-to-date schedule of virtual events and upcoming announcements as we get closer to normalcy. And Sun Tiki Studios, a top-notch rehearsal and performance facility located on Forest Avenue in Portland, Maine. Learn more at suntikistudios.com.
Welcome to Happy Hour. This week, my friend Sean Wilkinson calls in with a bottle of dry Curacao. What is that? Well, it's a true classic liqueur crafted in consultation with cocktail historian David Wondrich and based on a 19th century recipe. It's a traditional French, quote, triple sec. In short, it's oranges blended with cognac. And cognac's been coming up a lot lately. I didn't realize how many of our liqueurs were cognac based. So, he normally makes a dry Martinez with it, and he wants to know how to make another cocktail, and I'm going to show he and y'all how to make, and I might mispronounce this, I apologize, a Pegu Club cocktail. P-E-G-U. Maybe it's Pegu. Maybe it's Pegu. I'm not really sure, but that's the spelling, and I'm trying my best. My apologies for any offense. So let's make this drink. In a shaker full of ice, please add 2 ounces of gin. I'm going to use, again, because it's very dry, Beefeater. So 2 ounces of Beefeater gin, 3/4 of an ounce of the orange Curacao, 1/2 ounce, or I should say a 1/2 ounce, of fresh lime juice, 1 dash of orange bitters, and 1 dash of Angostura bitters. Probably go a couple dashes on those bitters, to be honest. Let's stir that until cold, and then strain into a coupe glass. And now, of course, the best part. Let's take a sip. Dry Curacao is my personal favorite of the orange liqueurs, and that's saying something, because there are some really great ones out there. Grand Marnier, Cointreau, for instance. But what I like about the Curacao, the dry Curacao, is that it is dry. It gives you a nice, bold orange flavor without being too sweet. This has been Happy Hour, brought to you by Maine Spirits. You can learn more about this drink and many other drinks at mainspirits.com, where you can also watch videos based on this very drink. You can download their app for your smartphone, which is a smart move. It's a wealth of information, what to get, where to get it, and what to do with it once you get it. You can follow them on Instagram at Maine_spirits. But as always, please drink deliciously and responsibly. So I was just catching up with Zach, saying that I was having stress dreams because we've gone from no gigs at all, never knowing when we're going to play, to like, I don't know, the offers are rolling in, man.
Yeah, it's I've gone from just being like, yep, I'm available at any time, my calendar's completely empty, to now like being like, I gotta check on that, and actually filling in lots of dates. It's nice. It's wild.
It's wild to have things in your calendar that aren't like phone calls and Zooms.
Yeah, but even just looking at the calendar with things marked on it is like stressing me out now. I'm like, I have to do these things.
Right. I find that I have dread, like when I commit to doing something, I'm like, but then when I do it, like 99% of the time, I'm like, oh, that's why I booked this. This is good. This is fun.
Same.
Yeah. So I went to, because I'm like, I mean, obviously, like I live and die by, my iCalendar, but I also am like a kind of a visual person. Mm-hmm. So I went to Wigan Office Supply, which is this place in Portland on Free Street that is, there's a lady that, I assume that she is like Mrs. Wigan or Miss Wigan, and she employs this guy who's like been with her. He's like the friendliest dude, like so helpful. Like, so I went in there to buy a desk calendar, right? Because I knew they'd have one. Mm-hmm. And it's just like this old school office supply store. It's incredible. And like the guy is like trying to give me a discount because the year's like 5 months in. Yeah. I'm like, no, man, I'll pay the full price. Like they never have customers. She must own the building. my guess is that she is like heir to the Wigan, office supply.
Yeah,
like they must own the building. Like, there's no way they don't own the building because, let me just say, I go there for as many of my office supplies as I can. It's not the most updated place, Probably not computer parts, but any binders, anything paper, they've got it. Or they'll order it. Cash only though. And
it's like, do you remember the SNL sketch from back in the day with the Scotch tape store? It was like Fred Willard was in I can't remember. Oh, maybe Gilda Radner but yeah, they were a store in the mall that it sold exclusively different kinds of Scotch tape.
There's a store in Manhattan that Letterman featured on his old show called Just Bulbs.
Nice.
And I was such a fan of it. My cousin lived in New York at the time, and she went there and bought me a bulb from Just Bulbs. I wish I still had that bag.
Spatula City?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Speaking of New York City, 50 years ago on May 17th, one of the greatest and at the time most maligned albums of all time came out.
Ooh, a nice segue.
Thank you. I grabbed it. I saw it and I grabbed it.
There you go. What album are you talking about? I have no idea.
I bet you do. It is, because this show is your idea.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't fool me, man. I see you.
Well, I was browsing through my emails this morning, and I got my Paul McCartney newsletter.
Mm-hmm. And I didn't get mine.
Oh, well, that's because he and I are closer. I get personalized messages from him. But
I've been spending money on his shit for 5 more years than you have. That's some bullshit.
That's true. Well, plus you buy all the reissues and stuff. I'm usually like, well, I have that one. I'll if it's significantly better, has things I don't know, I'll get it.
Well, I buy the reissues because, not that you can't find, this was a fairly popular album, so copies are pretty plentiful. But the McCartney Archive Collection has done such a good job with every reissue. I have one complaint, and that's on the Flowers in the Dirt issue, the bonus record, because I don't generally buy the ape shit, box set.
Yeah,
because there's that level.
Yeah,
I buy
they always do the 7-disc collection and then the tidier 2-disc collection.
Right.
Yeah,
but generally speaking, throughout his entire post-Beatles career, McCartney has just as much good shit that's not on his records, and sometimes better than what ended up on the record, I think, sometimes. And this album's no exception. But Flowers in the Dirt, they issued the Elvis Costello and Paul McCartney demos of the songs they co-wrote, which is nice as a curiosity, but they also, around that period of time, released a lot of really cool singles, I Would Like to Have... Once Upon a Long Ago and Back on My Feet and all these songs that were recorded around then. Because it's one of those, not often do you get a reissue disc, right? Where the second disc is 100% in rotation, right? Yep. But with these, they always are for me.
Yeah, I obviously we've talked about this before, but it felt the same way about Tom Petty's Wildflowers. And All the Rest, that All the Rest disc is just as good as the actual album.
100%. Yeah, that's now a 2-disc record for me.
Yeah,
and I think actually a lot of the stuff on All the Rest is, fits my tastes a little more than some of the stuff off Wildflowers.
Mm-hmm. But of course, the record we're talking about today is Ram.
Ram.
And yeah, I guess there is another reissue of Ram coming out for the 50th anniversary.
Oh, is that true?
It's true. That's what the email was about. And then I was like,
forward me that email, please.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Well, Paul sent me some personal updates too that he might not want me to share, just kind of between him and I kind of stuff. But I'll just
hold on. I'm going to text him.
Yeah, but so I was like, when did Ram come out? Obviously, it came out in 1971.
Let me just finish up with this text.
Oh, sure.
What's up?
I'm forwarding you this email, but forgot that I was sending it to you and was typing in Paul. I was like, no, I'm sending it to Spencer.
So who's going to get it?
I don't know.
Just Paul.
Yeah, but it turns out...
Paul at .com.
Paul at Paul M. I don't know.
I wonder if you could have like Spencer at.com.
Maybe.
Or Spencer at.com. Ooh.
But it turns out the day that this show that we're now recording is going to be released, the day that you, the listener, are listening to it, is the 50th anniversary of RAM, May 17th. May 17th.
That's assuming you're making the bold assumption that there are a bunch of people lining up when this thing comes out of the gate.
Well, high hopes, I guess. Swing for the fences.
Swing for the fences.
Yeah, people are sitting by their computer at 11:59 on Sunday being like, come on.
Come on.
New SAZETU.
Come on. Get to the chopper.
So here we are having our third show based around Paul McCartney as a topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, everyone saw that coming.
Yeah, sequels, remakes.
So what's up with this reissue?
Well, you should have the email by now.
I do. I'm looking at it. But
okay.
Available now. Let me click
it's
on
available
this.
already too, huh? Look at that. Apparently there's a live stream.
Oh, it's available in a music. Oh, it's the half-speed master edition. Yeah, Christ, do I have to buy that now?
Didn't you buy 2 copies of the last reissue?
Yes, I love this issue so much that I wanted to make sure that I always had a copy. So I have a brand new copy sealed, waiting for me when I finally, do my like martini DJ record scratching. Yeah, so when this came out with the archive, I mean, I know I said I didn't go ape shit and buy the box set, but on this one I did because it's my favorite of all of his records. So I got the 2-disc set. By disc, I mean vinyl. Mm-hmm. And there was a mono mix issued and sent only to DJs.
For their martini DJ sets.
Yes. They're like they work. They do it for a living. But yeah, so that was only issued there. So they have this awesome reissue of it, which is like basically a print of like a dirty white paper sleeve with pencil written RAM mono. It's like there's no fanfare to this at all, which I think is pretty great. And then also, due to a comment made by his former bandmate John Lennon, to which he said RAM was Muzak to his ears. He went ahead and hired like the BBC Muzak mini orchestra and hired an arranger to make a Muzak like all instrumental ba-doo 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 wah version of it, and it's fucking hilarious. It
is great.
And I just love the idea of like you got that much cheddar kicking around in your bank account that you can afford that level of long play joke.
Was that in the LP box set?
I didn't buy the LP box set. I bought them a la carte. I don't remember exactly when this came out. I know there was like a mega edition, but I got everything that I wanted.
Okay, because I have the of course we're talking about the Percy Thrills Thrillington.
Yes,
album.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
which is his Muzak reinterpretation of the album RAM.
The album is called Thrillington.
I still have the CD that I bought. I think you used it, Bull Moose, all those years ago.
You probably bought my old copy.
Probably. It wouldn't be the first time that happened.
No. That's so funny. That's true. Like back in the day, you'd come home with stuff from Bull Moose with my name on it.
Or one day when we were living with Stu, I think I came home from Bull Moose with just a box of CDs. I was like, I can't believe I found all this excellent stuff. Like, I found this Isaac Hayes collection. I found this Paul McCartney single. I found all this stuff. And you and Stu had just gone to Bull Moose and traded in a bunch of CDs the day before. And I just brought them all back.
That's right. We unnecessarily brought in the middleman.
Yeah, I think that's right. I have the what single is it?
It's Flaming from Flaming Pie, right? Hope of Deliverance.
Hope of Deliverance. Yes, I have that CD single. Yeah, and your initials are on it somewhere. And I was like, yeah.
Yep.
I think that was specifically the time where you're like, I just dropped that off yesterday. Look, there's my name on it.
Yeah, I used to initial my important CDs, and I bought that when it came out, and it was in my I would be very careful with them Then over time, I'm like, this is online. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like a collector in that, like if there are people who are out there who want like first to dish, first pressing, and I get it. Like it's a fucking sweet hobby to have, but I just want a good sounding copy and a nice print too. Like in all the reissues that they've put out, and actually a lot of the reissues I have in general, they do a really, really good job with the art and the printing and but yeah, certainly this McCartney archive collection. Like even I love it even when they do like little low rent moves, like making it look like a dirty sleeve, you know?
Yeah. I'm into that. I mean, that's I was pushed for my own album covers to go for the dirty sleeve look too.
Yeah, that's true. I've noticed that. As if you're some sort of found
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Shuggy Otis guy.
Which who knows? 30 years from now, I might be.
You might be. Yeah, I'm holding out hope for like some sort of post-mortem fame.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like for a lot of artists, that's when the fame comes. It's when the fame and the appreciation comes. I mean, for pretty much all the non-Paul McCartneys, you know.
Yeah, there are very few who are sincerely appreciated in their own time.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. You know, over the past handful of years, we've lost a lot of great artists, and there's always this huge outpouring of like, "Oh, I love their music. I've loved everything they've done." Oh, but you know, it's such a loss. Like that person probably felt so unappreciated while they were alive for the past 40 years, and I don't know.
Like Delia Derbyshire. You know, we covered her a couple months ago. She's this brilliant British electronic, like the godmother of electronic music, they call her. And yeah, she died like penniless and unknown, you know, for the most part, except for like the good nerds who figured out where she was and got her on tape talking, you know, like giving some interview, like documenting something about her. So
that's like the Vincent Van Gogh thing is
yep.
just as true, I guess, today as it as it was then. Just,
Nah, see, I'm still pushing. Like, I want that sweet green now. I don't give a shit.
I would definitely prefer to have it now.
You know, I'm pushing for like a minor hit. Yeah. You know, just give me something I can wheel around to like all the NPR rooms until I'm 65, playing like my one, you know, blue skies and jeans and happy times. You know, like whatever the fuck it is, and like the audience is only there for that. I'm like, my new album. They're like, ugh. Bathroom break.
Some friends of ours went to see 38 Special at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom.
Yeah.
And said they played Hold On Loosely twice. So,
oh, God. Just in case they missed it at the top.
I mean, I guess it's what the crowd
Don't
wanted.
play it twice. I don't know.
I mean, you know what? I'll take that. If I have a song that the audience wants to hear twice, I'll play it twice. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel like there still can be some like artistry in aging.
It's true.
You know, it always bums me out when people who are like tastemakers, or what, I hate that fucking term. You know, pace setters. Oh no, I hate that one too. Influencers. Fuck. But people who, you know, like pushed boundaries in their day, when they kind of like sleep on the sharpness of it. You know that moment where like it goes like GB band. Yep. You know, and it's like the gig shirts and I don't know, fuck that shit. I'm 40 fucking 5. Like, put on some cool shoes. Like, you can afford it.
It's true.
You know, and don't wear your flame shirt. Don't let your, partner dress you. I don't know. I mean, people age. I don't know. Paul McCartney's still pretty fucking cool.
He's pretty cool, and he's still putting out interesting music too. You know,
even it is interesting at times.
Even when he, let's say, I mean, I'm thinking, I guess, specifically of McCartney 3, like even which he put out just this past year. Even when it doesn't connect entirely, it's still interesting. Like it's still, he still took a shot and tried something, which is cool because he doesn't have to. He could just dial it in which is also something he's done
He
before.
could play Hold On Loosely twice.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'd prefer to hear him play it twice than the band that wrote it. Yeah, so Ram.
Yeah. Back to the
38
subject,
special. That's in this show.
Yep. It's in the show.
It's in the show. It's in the movie. So yeah, the album was recorded in 1971. So he put out McCartney before the Beatles officially split. Then Let It Be came out, and then he followed up with this. And he was suing his former bandmates at the time, which his former bandmates and the world hated.
Yeah.
Especially like the music press, who love to like do that thing where they divide, Lennon's the artist, McCartney's the pop, I don't know, dismissed like pop guy. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I hate that. Lennon was just as capable of crap.
Exactly.
Just because he took a picture of his dick and put it on an album cover doesn't make, whatever. I remember seeing that I'm referring to the cover of Two Virgins.
Yeah.
Which is this John and Yoko like kind of noise album. And it's like, it's the two of them just like stark ass naked. And I remember seeing that as a kid being like, no, I don't want to see any of this.
Yeah. I remember seeing copies of that on vinyl at Bull Moose in Portsmouth when I was a kid and not buying it. Just because I was like, what is this? Like, it's basically like an album's worth of, it's sound collages. It's an album of sound collages. And he and Yoko made like 3 of them. But I mean, I feel like as a collector's item, that would be a good thing to own now. But I like deliberately put it down back in the day.
Yeah, because it's just like, no. So, yeah. He was suing them to basically disband Apple or something. And his move actually ended up like kind of saving them, because otherwise they would have been in the hands of the dastardly Alan Klein, who I believe still has like some amount like of like a big amount of interest in the Rolling Stones catalog. Like prime era. Abco. You ever seen anything made by Abco? That's dirty money. Actually, I think One Night in Miami was Abco.
Oh, interesting.
Which I will say made me go like, when it started. But it blew right past it. But that movie was made with dirty, dirty money. Dirty money like earned, which is like dirty money when it was earned in the first place, I think, too.
Yeah.
Like the Stones are kind of like, they kind of weave that line like Zeppelin, like, well, Zeppelin is heavily ensconced in that world of ripping people off. But, the Stones are kind of like, it's close, bud. It's kind of your thing. Not really, though. So, like, Lennon had also released Plastic Ono Band to critical acclaim. I don't think it moved that many units at the time. And Imagine came out in 1971. Almost as a response to this, there's actually a track on Imagine that directly like insults Paul.
Yeah, and he says, "The sound you make is music to my ears" in that song.
That's right. Yeah.
There's also on the so the cover of Ram has Paul McCartney holding a ram's horns, and in the sleeve of Imagine, there's a picture of John Lennon holding a pig's ears.
That's
in
right.
The same pose.
No, on the back of Ram, there's a picture of two Beatles fucking.
That's right.
Yep. So there's a lot of rancor going around at the time. George Harrison, All Things Must Pass came out. Everyone loved that because duh.
Just do.
But this one was hated on.
It was by just about everybody.
Yep.
It's
except for the record buying public, because it still sold a couple million copies and had a number one hit and some other minor hits on it.
That's true.
Yep. But yeah, sorry to derail you there. But
no,
yeah.
it's okay. I actually kind of forgot where I was going, so you help yourself.
Sorry about that. Really kicked you off the rails. Yeah, it was like all of the major outlets panned it, which we could go through here. Let me find it. Critical
I guess
reception.
where I was going to lean to is that obviously it had a number one hit on it, and there's a number one hit single released around it. Like Uncle Albert being the hit that was on it, and Another Day being the hit that was released around it.
Well, that's actually a nice segue too. Were you going to go here to like what was recorded around that time?
Well, I was just going to go on. The record itself, as you said, was was very panned, even though it had those hits. And it's really just, over these last 50 years, like it just gets more and more popular and more appreciated. Like, it's even on the Wikipedia page, it kind of classifies it as indie pop.
Yep.
Yeah, which wasn't really a thing back then, and it's funny that Paul McCartney coming out of the Beatles with McCartney and then Ram took a very independent approach to making these albums that were like polished but not polished.
That's exactly what I love about this album. It's beautiful production, but it's ratty around the edges.
Exactly.
In fact, the first track that comes on, I think I pointed this out to you when the reissue came out. The first track, you can hear 60 cycle hum, and for non-nerds, that's you can just hear it comes in the second the tape starts, and it remains there the entirety of the song. It's really loud. You can definitely hear it the whole time. Doesn't stop the song from rocking. Never noticed it. Well, actually, I did notice it before the reissue, but
I never noticed it until you pointed it out, and then I just hear it every time. But it's part of the charm.
100%. Yep. That's. It goes places. So basically, it's he held auditions in New York. It's all done in New York, which is cool. Held auditions for guitarists. Ended up with what's his name, Hugh McCracken.
I believe that's correct.
Dave Spinoza. Hugh McCracken came in to replace Spinoza.
Yeah.
And then Denny Sewell, who would end up in the first incarnation of Wings, was the drummer on hand throughout. But during this period of time, as we were mentioning earlier, McCartney has this incredible ability to put out a shit ton of material, and sometimes what he puts on the record is not as good as what he leaves off, in my opinion. Oh Woman, Oh Why would be an example on this album, which was the B-side to Another Day, which was released as a non-album single. But that song is like one of his greatest of all time, I would say.
As is Another Day.
Oh, yeah, Another Day is brilliant. And I get why they'd put that out as like an A-side, B-side. That's cool. It was at least it was issued, But a lot of the stuff that they recorded here, I'm trying to find the list. Oh, here. Okay, so the sessions also, I'm just going to read right from Wikipedia.
I'll go for it.
So roll with it. The sessions also produced songs such as Little Woman Love, as well as tracks from Red Rose Speedway, Get on the Right Thing, Little Lamb Dragonfly, and Big Barn Red, and I Lie Around. And a lot of those were issued as B-sides. He also recorded first version of Seaside Woman, which was a Linda song. Hey Diddle, which is a great jam. A Love for You, which was eventually issued on the remake of the In-Laws soundtrack. And I think at that point, too, it featured all members of Wings that existed, I believe, which is kind of funny because they just kept pulling it back up and working on it and putting it back down, Yeah. And then what else there? Now Hear This Song of Mine and Road All Night, and Sunshine Sometimes, and When the Wind is Blowing. So some of those I actually don't know, but most of them have been issued by now, either on B-sides or as part of these collections. So it's nice to have them all in one spot. But how fertile is that?
It's crazy how active he was, obviously writing and recording. But yeah, to leave all those great songs off an album and still have it be one of the great albums of all time. It's pretty impressive.
So a lot of those tunes were worked into another side note, McCartney reissue side note. The next record, Red Rose Speedway, was issued as a one disc, even though the art, which we've talked about on the show before, alludes to it having been a 2-disc set. It's just very huge package, like complex printing, lots of color, glossy, expensive. But they, with that one, kind of like the RAM mono on this, they issued the original 2-disc sequence, which is really cool to listen to. And actually makes, I prefer it to the 1-disc myself. It just makes everything make more sense to me.
I do as well. Red Rose Speedway has always been one of my favorites anyway, as we've talked about. And it was like almost jarring a little bit at first to hear the songs in a different sequence and stuff, but now I can't hear them any other way. It has to be in the 2-disc set now.
I know, and the sad thing, I mean, I'm glad I have it on vinyl, but it's only available on vinyl. You can't stream it anywhere. But I would prefer that. I wish they'd put that up. I'm going to write Hill on. All right,
well, I think all of the songs have been released.
While you're putting, sorry, 1 second. While you're putting me back on the mailing list, can you also put Red Rose Speedway 2-disc on Spotify? Thanks much. Eggplant emoji.
He's already texted me twice since we started recording this, so I don't know if it takes too long, I can just throw it out to him real quick.
Yeah, was it did he forward you subscription fees to the fan club? Oh, no, I forgot you're the president.
Yeah, exactly. I collect the dues. That's my side hustle. He doesn't even know about that.
It's like Beatle nerds insulting each other. Oh, what are you, the president of the fan club? So uncool. Anyway, I get why this album was panned at the time, and I don't think it had anything to do with the quality of the album. I think it had to do with like the mood in the air. So I think as that dust settled over the years, and people would meet this album without having just read a scathing review in NME, right? Yeah. They can just meet it. You know, it's like when you there's like a couple that breaks up or something, and everyone's mad at Don, because he, Don. But if you just like meet both Don and Jeff, like outside of the context of that, you're like, oh, they're both very nice people.
Yeah. Well, I think
you don't have to take sides.
Paul definitely was framed as the bad guy in the Beatles breakup. And the other three remained a little bit tighter and kept working together. Well,
it's because he was suing the three of them, probably.
Exactly. And obviously, and then the three of them were also trashing him in the press all the time, too.
I know.
They didn't hold back their opinions on the album and stuff, so I'm sure that did not help. If three Beatles are saying that your album is not good, then the public might be like, oh, yeah, maybe it isn't.
Yeah, and the three of them get together and do a bunch of talk chalk and record How Do You Sleep?
Yeah.
Which is, that song is just, it's not even like clever. They're not like even clever barbs, Yeah,
it's just mean.
It's just mean. And that's what, I mean, I don't mind, like, you want to, like, get at someone, like, you're one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Like, make it good, but no.
Well, the other Beatles did think that a few of the songs on RAM were taking shots at them. Like, I think they assumed that Three Legs was about them, which I don't actually know what that song is about, so maybe it is.
Yeah, it might be. But again, clever. Never mentions it.
Yeah.
Like, How Do You Sleep is like, Paul is such a dick. It's like...
there's like, the only thing you done was yesterday, and now you're just another day. It's like,
so pointed.
It is.
Too many people. I think Paul mentions too many people preaching practices. Don't let them tell you what you want to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say that's the thing. It's I think they assumed Three Legs was about them. They thought Dear Boy was about them, but Too Many People actually was. Paul has admitted. Not entirely about, but aimed at John and Yoko.
Yeah, because they were hanging around in bags.
Yep. Everybody's talking about bagism.
Yep. So being further removed from all this acrimony that we're talking about, what we're talking about is a really subtle, nuanced, beautiful record.
Exactly. I mean, we've talked about this before, and like I always find when I know that songs like "Oh Woman, Oh Why" and "Another Day" were out there in the world, it every time I hear like "Smile Away" and "Monkberry Moon Delight," I'm like, why can't we pull these two songs and put any of those other two songs that were recorded around it? And I don't dislike those songs in the context of the record. But they're never ones I would want to listen to outside of the record. And I feel like this is already like almost an A+ record that could have been an A++. I feel like with a couple other selections on it.
See, I'll give you "Smile Away" but "Smile Away" is fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just, and if you put a lot of pressure on it, then it's like, nah. But if you just like enjoy it as like a hunk of rock and roll, it's definitely that. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
but
one of the songs
"A Woman,
I
Oh
would
Why"
love to find is the I don't know, the obscure B-side.
Right. "A Woman, Oh Why" should have been in that spot.
Yeah.
That said, I'm not with you on "Monkberry Moon Delight." I think that song is essential.
One of the things that has somewhat changed my opinion on "Monkberry Moon Delight," not as how it pertains to its inclusion on the album "RAM," but just as a song in general, is Screamin' Jay Hawkins has a version of "Monkberry Moon Delight."
Really?
Which is awesome. Like, it is exactly the type of song that is perfect for him to be singing.
That's great. I'll check that out. I had no idea. That song introduced me to chaos, urgency.
I think you should say chaos theory.
No. It's just like, it's just relentless. That's what it is. It's just like, I'd never heard a song as relentless as that song. It's like, oh God. And then what he's kind of like painting with words. Mm-hmm. I sat in my attic, a piano up my nose. The wind played a dreadful cantata. So good.
Yep. I feel like that was probably the tape was running and he made up some lyrics and then never changed them.
See, I don't know, man. It seems, because he is who knows? That's a totally sound theory. But because he does that a lot. I mean, that's like most of Wings Wildlife is him just being like, yeah, there's a song called Mumbo.
Yeah.
It's just him saying shit.
Yeah.
Just like word association.
Mumbo, bip bop.
Yep, bip bop, bip on bam.
Yeah.
Take your bottom dollar, put it in your hand. And we go bip bop. It's awesome.
Yeah. I actually love that one.
It's like, what's it sound like when a genius is just fucking around?
Yeah.
I'm looking for Monkberry Moon Delight. Yeah. Let me get my readers out here. Small print. But some of the lyrics. When a rattle of rats had awoken, the sinews and nerves and the veins, my piano was boldly outspoken in attempts to repeat this refrain.
That's actually pretty brilliant.
So I stood with a knot in my stomach, and I gazed at that terrible sight of two youngsters concealed in a barrel, sucking Monkberry Moon Delight. It sounds like Edgar Allan Poe.
It all comes together when you hear Screamin' Jay Hawkins sing it.
It's horror music.
Yeah, it's horror music. That's probably why.
So I sat in the attic, a piano up my nose.
That's like that.
Ketchup, soup, and puree. Don't get left behind. Amazing. The fuck is he talking about? I love it. I love that song. Other highlight. I mean, Too Many People off the the first song, side one. Amazing. Three Legs is like this guitar picking, country music kind of thing. But definitely, it's not like country music. It's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ram On, which is brings in a theme, which is reprised later in the album. Dear Boy, as you mentioned, that's kind of like more of like not a ballad, piano, minor piano pop.
I love that. I love all those harmonies that are weaving in and out on that song. Though it's so good.
It's nuts.
It's also like I can see how John Lennon may have thought that was about him. You know, guess you never knew, dear boy, what you'd found and all that. But Paul has said that it was directed toward Linda's ex-husband, which makes even more sense once you know that.
Yeah. But it's also like you could totally see why they would.
Yeah.
I mean, breakup song's a breakup song.
Yeah. Oh man, what a beautiful song though. It's so brilliantly produced in every way.
But also, it's like it's urgent.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like this light, breezy harmony thing. It's like it commands your attention.
Definitely.
And then Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, was the big single off the album, which I think is a masterstroke, genius composition. Of all of his songs, it's the one I'm like, how the fuck did you write that?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Well, it's also funny that this album has a reputation as one of the early, early examples of indie pop. Yeah, then he's got a song like Uncle Albert that has like the New York Philharmonic on it.
It's seamless. It's gorgeous.
But still fits perfectly within the context of the record.
Well, yeah, because hands across the water. You know, like, it's still indie pop.
Totally.
But he just fired an orchestra on top of it. I love the flugelhorn bit in that. It's just like so satisfying. You don't expect it.
His, in the middle, like, the butter wouldn't melt, so I put it in the pie. They're like, a butter pie.
The butter would melt. I put it in the pie. Hands across the water. It's like they're having this side argument. They remember they had to sing to the crowd.
Yeah.
A butter pie. A butter pie. The butter would melt. I put it in the pie. It's so good. Side 2 starts with Heart of the Country, which is, folk, kind of bluegrassy. Has some pretty impressive guitar work on it.
Yeah, Paul singing about the barnyard. I love that stuff.
Yep, into it. Monkberry Moon Delight, as discussed.
Yeah.
Eat at Home, which is a solid hunk of rock and roll.
Exactly. Great little
so cool.
guitar lick riff, whatever.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yep, and into Long Haired Lady, which is kind of like getting into like epic, journeyman songwriting there too, as well.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that shares a similar space to Uncle Albert.
Sure.
Maybe just, I don't know. I think it's almost equally as awesome, but also has the orchestra on it again, I believe.
Yeah, it alludes to like some sort of suite. And then Ram On comes back to reprise itself. And then it closes out with The Backseat of My Car, which is, a lot of people will give The Long and Winding Road, like this credit is like maybe Paul's best ballad. But I'm not a huge fan of that song. Sorry, Paul. We already texted about that. I know you love it. Most people do. Like millions. I'm in the minority here.
That's true.
And I know this, but Backseat of My Car, it's like, that's the one for me. If I wanted to show somebody, like, what's a Paul McCartney ballad? Well, I guess Let It Be.
Backseat of My Car is such a prime example, though, of how brilliant McCartney is as a melodicist. And like how he just like can just spit out these beautiful melodies that like, and it also kind of like shows you why I feel like sometimes lyrics aren't always his strong part to suit, because his melodic ideas are like just flowing at 110% at all times. But Backseat of My Car has, it does have a great lyric, but there's also these great like little counter melodies, and like the B and C section where he's just oohing or ahhing. These these melodies that any other songwriter would be like, how can I come up with something that good? That for Paul McCartney is just like the mid or transition section.
Yeah.
In this song, that never comes back or something. Like it's so brilliant. And then this record, the guitar work all the way through it is brilliant. There's like the reprise guitar solo and Too Many People, and kind of like a little outro bit.
Over like the weirdest chords.
Totally.
Like we had to learn that one year for Beatles night. I still don't get it. It's like I don't get it. How'd you end up there? You must have just been like jamming. And I would reckon that, well, I don't know, Paul can pull off a guitar solo like a mofo. But
Yeah, he's a great
both
guitar player.
Dave Spinoza and Hugh McCracken are like, they played on a lot of Paul Simon. They were the guys, like the New York guys, right, at the time. So, yeah, this album, like, I mean, I got it on cassette initially.
Yeah.
And I've said it before. I've said it before today, earlier. And I'll say it again. Ram is one of my favorite Beatles albums, inclusive of the Beatles catalog.
Yeah, I mean, these songs are already almost perfection, but then you can't help but think about what they would have sounded like had the Beatles been involved in making it. I guess we'll never know, but I'm happy we got this record. I'm actually holding in my hand the CD copy of it that I bought in 1993 or 4, whenever it was I first got it.
Oh, is that mid-price collection?
This is, it must have been like an original CD issue of it, because the booklet is like a bifold, and the inside of it is all just like the descriptions of what compact discs are.
Wow.
The compact disc digital audio system. It takes up a full page going through all the compact disc stuff.
Yeah. Who played guitar on this thing?
That takes up a lot less space.
Yeah. Well, I'd put the album here so you could just listen to it, but I don't know if we get sued or not. I just don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Not that we get sued. I mean, would they just flick us off like flies? Like, shut up,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on Spotify and all the streamies. And if you don't know it, I can tell you what, firsthand, I played it to some friends of ours back in the day who were, Beatle aware into it, but like not like heads. And I played them Ram, and they were like, what the fuck is this? Like, changed their game.
When I was working part-time at a movie theater in Oakland, California, however many years ago that was now, over a decade probably, some of the young hip kids there had just discovered Ram, and they were all about it.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like that was like what it was finally like coming out of like the nerd realm, and people who remembered it from back in the day into the, the cool indie kids are like, this is a cool record. So
it's been really cool too when they do reissue these things. They'll oftentimes have like David Frick do like an interview or something like that. He did one with Wildlife, or at least reviewed it. But it was awesome to like hear somebody so like storied and knowledgeable in writing about music to just, because that album, like Wildlife, got panned too because it was just viewed. We've talked about that. We don't want to go down the whole catalog, but
David Frick has a show on the Beatles Sirius station. It's really good. It's called Apple Jam, and they just go around, like they talk about all of the other artists that were on Apple and talk about the sessions, and it's really cool. Talking about how, I don't know, how different albums that were released on Apple came about, and
we're talking about James Taylor. We're talking about Jackie Lomax. We're talking about Badfinger.
Yeah, and,
right? Mary Hopkins.
Billy Preston, Doris Troy, like a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
Billy Preston makes a good noise. That guy.
That's right.
Well, not to belabor the point, I think that we've expressed our love for this album.
I think we have, and happy 50th.
Happy 50th to you, Ram. Yeah. Here's to 50 more. I hope you can exist for 50 more years. Bye.
Bye.
SAZETU is brought to you by Maine Spirits. Learn more about the spirits they bring into the state of Maine at mainspirits.com, and what to do with them by downloading their app for your smartphone, or visit them on Instagram at Maine_spirits. Promotional consideration provided by State Theatre Portland. Learn more at statetheatreportland.com. And Sun Tiki Studios. Learn more at suntikistudios.com.